Welcome, everyone. And today you guys are very lucky. And I mean, very lucky because a very special lady is joining us to talk about her business, to talk about Palm Desert, which is such an incredible market, and to share kind of her tips, her secrets, her journey, what she's done well. So, first of all, you have to know that becoming a household name in Palm Desert is probably one of the most difficult markets to not only get into, but to thrive and survive as many years as she had. She is a respected name in real estate. She's an incredible businesswoman and team person and team leader and inspirational. Sheri, I adore you. I'll share my story with you and how I came to know in just a moment. But first of all, I also have to tell you that her marketing is beautiful. It's compelling. It's data rich. And her and her team kick it. I mean, they kick it in the desert. First, I want to just share and say that, Sheri, I like to consider you my personal agent in the desert. You have been awesome. And I want to tell you guys that many of you know that I do own some investments down in Palm Desert, vacation rentals. And I first came to know about the desert when my daughter was riding in thermal. And many years ago, I think one of the first people I ever even talked to was Sheri. And she was as amazing then as she is now. And even just recently this year, call Sheri up. Hey, do you think I should sell now? You think I should buy now? And Sheri, what I love about you is you tell it like it is. You didn't say to me, oh yeah, Denise, great time to sell, let me list your house. You actually made some suggestions for me to not sell and some compelling reasons why I probably shouldn't. So first of all, I want to let you know, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your knowledge in the community. And I love it that you're all about what is in the best interest of the client. Now, that being said, Palm Desert is a very, very interesting market. Agents come and go. You have a lot of part-timers. You have a lot of agents in the desert that, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about any part-timers out there, but listen, if you're going to sell real estate in a market like Palm Desert, you better be full-time, you better be business-minded. And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. You got to make sure you are representing clients well. And Sheri, you're a full-timer. You are, when I think of real estate Palm Desert, I'm going to think of you. The other thing is your web presence is second to none. If you even begin to put in Palm Desert, anyone's going to find you. So you are just incredible. So first of all, thank you for just being such a great, honest voice to me over the years. And it's been a lot of years now. I mean, you and I have talked probably 10 years ago and 2 months ago. So you've always been that voice of when I need honest answers in the desert, you're there. So first of all, can you share with our listeners how you got into real estate? Because I really want you to share kind of what did I do before? How the heck did I get into real estate? How long have you been in the industry? And why Palm Desert? Such a great place.
Well, thank you for that lovely intro. I can go home now. No, actually, I got started around 2007, and I purchased a home out here in 2003. Met my late husband in 2005 and got married. And then we decided just through our own real estate purchases that we saw a need for agents who actually treated this as a business. And we had the knowledge and the wherewithal to do that. He had run a professional sound and lighting business that he started when he was 15 years old, and he grew it to 150 employees before he sold it when we met in 2005.
Wow.
And he was an entrepreneur and he enjoyed starting new businesses and being of service to people. And so we said, we're going to do this. We're going to go big or go home. And we want to do at least 50 million a year within a few years, which we did. And we grew from nothing to over 78 million. This year, we're on track for over 100 million. So I got started with zero and ended up out here because the home that I had bought was out here because I lived in Los Angeles and I would do kind of the reverse commute. And then once I met Bill and got married, then I came out here full time in 2005.
And you and Bill really focused very heavily on your web presence when you first started. It was, and it still is, absolutely incredible. What's your secret to that? I mean, you obviously saw a need. You knew kind of, again, where were the trends going? You were strong on your website was super strong before websites were even super strong in the industry, right? You were ahead of the curve where a lot of agents were just relying on their company web presence. You guys went out on your own. You did a phenomenal job. Can you just share a little bit about your web presence and just how phenomenal that has been for you in your business?
Well, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, our business was built around tech from day one.
Yeah.
We built it from scratch, the website from scratch, and we were always tech focused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't speak. Can sell real estate, but I can't speak. But we've always been ahead of the curve. And, you know, we were the first people to use drones for our marketing. Bill had, you know, he bought the first drone. Of course, now it's commonplace. We were the first people to shoot real video and not just, you know, stuff on an iPhone or something. So a lot of the things that agents now are just starting to do, we've been doing since day one. So, you know, we really didn't have to pivot much with COVID, other than having our buyer consultations, you know, on Zoom, because we already embraced all of that technology to begin with.
You guys were doing such incredible video work before anyone else. I mean, literally, I could go onto your website and I could say, hey, I want to have a look at Andalusia or PGA West, or, you know, there's a million of them, right? And every community that I was curious about, I could kind of click on that community. And what I loved was you showed the facts of it, the data, the listings in there. Then I could literally go to that community, and I'm now in video being driven down into the entryway of the community. So your work with video, with technology, with your web presence online has been incredible. Now, that being said, I know you're amazing in that department. However, you work in this super diverse market. You've got people like me, investors. I don't live down there, but you know, I invest down there, right? You have got homeowners, you've got celebrities, you've got professional athletes. I mean, I have a story or two about all the professional athletes and celebrities that have stayed in my houses. I can imagine you working with them to sell and buy properties. You have this broad base of personality types, of professions. My goodness, we also have Adam today here who is with you, and he is your buyer specialist. Hi, Adam. Thank you for joining us. Adam, I'm going to ask you a couple questions in a moment, but I bet Adam's got some stories to tell too about the buyer base. But with such a diverse base of buyers, I mean, you've had to master some people skills, or, I mean, were you a counselor in a past profession? How do you handle and juggle all that?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because really, counseling and coaching people, I consider to be a huge part of our job now. My background before real estate was a combination of actress, waitress, whatever.
Yeah.
I was in the restaurant business for many, many years. I worked for Bobby McGee's, if anybody remembers Bobby McGee's. I worked with Jeremiah Tower at Stars in San Francisco, Wolfgang Puck at Spago. So I have a restaurant background, which I think if you were good in the restaurant business, it helps in this business. Plus, I'm the oldest of four, and I'm naturally really bossy. So,
well, and we're going to talk about how that bossy helps your business, because you also have a team. I want to talk about team in a second, but I do want to talk about your restaurant background, because I was brought up in the restaurant business. My dad owned restaurants, and I've said this a million times in all my training and coaching, that go and be a waitress for 2 months. You'll figure out how to read people. You'll figure out when you're not giving them that client care. Now, concierge client care is what you guys are about. Bottom line, you have an incredible team. You're self-admitted bossy, which I love. You know yourself, you know who you are, what you do well, but you're smart enough to have built a strong business with an incredible team. Can you just tell me a little bit about your team?
Sure. So the way that our team works is that now, I mean, most of my time is spent running the business.
Yeah.
I also handle all of our listings along with my client services manager. And then we did just bring on an inside sales assistant within the past 2 weeks, and he just started making phone calls this week. But then I have Adam, I have Betsy, Lisa, and now Karen will be joining us shortly as buyer specialist. So they're the ones that are, you know, out in the trenches, so to speak. They know the inventory inside and out. They've been in all the homes. They know the communities. So that's the structure of our team. I manage the listings, run the business, and they, for the most part, take care of all of our buyers.
And also with in the desert now, down in the desert, there's a lot of changes, especially to do with vacation rentals. Right now, City of La Quinta can't even rent out your short-term rental at this moment, and there's a whole bunch of conditions. But things are changing, and you guys have to keep up with every development, all the changes in each development. If an HOA is deciding that they no longer want short-term rentals, you got to be up on all that. How do you guys do that? That I can't even imagine. That would be a monumental task. How do you do that?
Well, so that's one of the reasons why being part of a team is good, and being with a brokerage like we are is good, because we have access to all of that information. But honestly, for our team, Adam has been really instrumental in keeping all of us in the loop with particularly what's going on with the short-term rental situation. He's been attending the city meetings. And Adam is a new homeowner of an investment property. So he's in those trenches personally, which I think is very valuable for our clients, because he can speak from his own personal experience as to exactly what's going on. So we have been really utilizing Adam and picking his brain, because he's the one who's keeping us on track with what's going on with the short-term rentals.
And Adam, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about this. So I track a lot in the desert because I just love the desert. I think it's a great place to live. I don't live there full time, obviously. Would love to live there, you know, part of the year, but it's an incredible place, right? It is. It's also it's not like every traditional market. A traditional market is very much you buy there, you live there, you stay there, your kids go to school there. Palm Desert and La Quinta, Palm Springs, they all of them, all the different cities from, you know, Palm Springs to Indio to Coachella, they all have their own personality, feel, and vibe. And then there's this whole vacation rental thing. So it sounds like you're out tracking, you're going to a lot of the meetings. Just because I love the desert so much, and not to be so, no, I don't want to be too nosy, but where did you end up buying?
In the La Quinta Cove.
So yeah, La Quinta Cove is that's a great area. So what changes are you seeing with the short-term vacation rentals? What are you noticing?
Well, we got a very large influx of people from LA, Orange County, and, you know, other parts of the nation and the world come over here during the pandemic and the stay-at-home order when it was put in place. So to appease a lot of the full-time residents, you know, they put a short-term moratorium on the new permits, and it was supposed to be up until November, and then they extended it out until February. But attending the city meetings and listening to the mayor speak about the infrastructure of the short-term rental department and the plans for improvements and the revenue that they're making from short-term rentals, I personally don't foresee it going away or going to vote anytime soon. But again, you know, we don't really have a crystal ball to predict those type of things. But in my opinion, you know, La Quinta is still up and coming. It's still growing. There's a lot of economy that is coming out here. There's a lot of projects. People are moving to La Quinta to live here more so year round, as opposed to, you know, just a secondary home. So it's really going on the way up, but, you know, we got to try to keep everybody happy, especially the people who are living here, you know, full time and have supported us.
And some of that has gone to, so for example, I've been speaking about specifically La Quinta for about 10 years. I've been telling everybody I could that would even listen to me 10 years ago. I'm like, buying La Quinta, buying La Quinta. They should have, they would have made a lot of money, but you know, people don't always listen. I'm also a real estate analyst. I predict things. You know, part of today is my predictions. And I will tell you the prediction I will make about short-term rentals in La Quinta. The amount of income that the city of La Quinta makes off of short-term rentals, I know that every month I've got to send in my little check to them, if I have a renter and that renter is paying you, and we know that the rentals in the city of La Quinta are high. When I originally purchased, then versus now, those rental rates have gone crazy because the demand is so high. You're paying 10%. There's a 10% tax on those short-term rentals. I can't imagine that going away. But needless to say, that's a lot of work for you. Now, what are you seeing? The buyers that are coming to your area, I bet you guys are swamped. I think there's usually two kinds of buyers, the serious ones and the ones that want you guys to just, you are the tour guides. And that's been a big challenge for other agents I've known in the area. What are buyers wanting now? What are you seeing changing? Are there any trends that you're noticing that buyers are kind of shifting to? What are you seeing?
The most significant trend that I'm seeing is that the luxury market, the million plus in the last 6 months, has really grown a lot. I don't know if it has to do with maybe some of the loans that they were giving out and some of those type deals, but I think with low interest rates,
Yeah.
us only being a 2.5 hour drive from Los Angeles, Orange County, on top of the snowbirds that we normally get. I mean, we're at 2.1 month supply of inventory right now. And it's just absolutely insane. But people are just wanting to come out here to, work remotely from home, enjoy the beautiful weather and the mountain views. And, it's the perfect storm for our market.
And the other surge that's coming your way that I'm sure you guys are obviously aware of this, but our listeners may not be. The Canadian market is right now locked behind a border and they cannot go anywhere. Do you know that the Palm Desert area is about to see the largest influx of Canadians the moment the border opens? I can tell you, you guys are going to be, you're going to be hiring more buyer's agents because Canadians want to buy. I know my family's from Canada. I'm a dual citizen, and all of the people that I know that normally go down to the desert, they are now like, look, we want to just buy, and that way, if there's a problem again, we're heading south. So a lot there's so much interest, and also the quality of life that you have when you're down in the desert, and that's what you're selling, right? That's a big thing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what do you think. And Sheri, I'm going to go back to you for a second. What do you think has been, I know what your secret to success is. I know it. And I'll give you my thoughts after, but what do you think your secret to success has been?
Well, we always come from a position of people just want to be helped. And, what do we have? It's all about being of service. I mean, we're professional, we're honest, we have integrity. Yes, we have the best marketing. I feel like I have the best agents on my team. But, we don't care if you have, or if you're looking for a $150,000 condo, or if it's a $5 million home. We feel that everyone across the board deserves the best representation. And of course, we feel like that's us. But, that's, I would say, that's probably the bottom line of it. We don't want any drama. My saying is that, nobody presses the panic button until I say it's time to. We are solution driven. We look for a solution. We don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Things will work out. We will figure it out. We don't need to create drama in order to make it look like we're doing our job. In fact, a lot of times people think, oh, well, that was easy. Well, that's because we made it look easy. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And honestly, we try and, shield our clients from a lot of that because it's not necessary and it doesn't contribute to, a nice experience at the end of the day.
So the thing that I would say, like from my perspective, as somebody that knows you from a professional point of view, but also a personal point of view, meaning, hi, I have a question to ask you. You're very responsive. You are and I love this about you, you're very honest. If you don't think it's the right move, it's not, you haven't been driven. I asked that question a few years ago. I asked a number of agents down in the desert a question or two about an investment I had, and I got really different answers. And I remember one agent in particular that I spoke with, I remember just getting that feeling of, this is just a sale. It's just a sale. And you guys don't have that. Your team is very, you've built a really strong team, clearly. But at the end of the day, you're there to also run a business, and the amount of business that you're doing, and you're talking about upwards of $80 million of business. It's incredible. So that being said, where is all this business coming from? What is your best form of lead generation? My gosh, 80 million.
Yeah, so the majority of our people, and believe me, I track all of this.
Yes.
So it's not me just pulling it out of my hat. I know of what I speak.
Yes.
Our biggest source of clients is our website.
Yeah.
Because we offer so much information to people, and that's what people want. They want information. And like you said, we're responsive. I mean, if somebody emails me or calls me, I pick up the phone, I talk to them. You're never going to get, my voicemail is full or not a call back. That's a whole nother story. But,
Yes.
so the website, and then also our past clients.
Yeah.
Because, past buyers became sellers, and then buyers again. And so really those are the two things. It's our past clients and the website.
Your website I have for years. Anytime anybody asks me, I'm like, you need to go and look at Sheri's website. Nobody does it better than her. So you are the leader. Now, many have tried to copy you. Nobody will ever. You're the first and you're the best, right? The first and best. Now, I have a question. For Adam. Adam, when out of town investors,
Mhm.
buyers come to you, what are they saying they want to buy?
Well, it depends on what their goals are. If they are strictly investment, then we look at the margins and see if they're there. And just like you mentioned, if they're not there, we're going to tell you that they're not there. But
Yeah.
we will actively continue searching for when the right opportunity comes along and go for it from there. But we do have a lot of people that are part-time owners, and then they want to get a return back by renting the property out. So kind of a mix
hybrid.
between both. But
Yeah.
majority of what we see, golf course communities with high returns, beautiful mountain views, south or west orientation for the sun, and then the condos. A lot of condos because of the price point,
Right.
lock and go, easy maintenance, and the return on them is pretty good.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's really interesting. You get to work with such a diverse group of people, which I love. Now, Sheri, I want to know from you, what was the biggest mistake that you made in your business, and how did you overcome it? I just love hearing people's, because I think you learn from, I personally learned so much, probably more from my failures and my successes, because you really reflect on that. And I know, Sheri, you're a deep thinker, you're a tracker, you're an analyzer, you're someone that is going to give things a lot of reflection. So what was the biggest mistake you made?
Well, we always test things. So I wouldn't consider anything that we tested and then decided after the test period that it wasn't right for us. I don't consider that a mistake, because you have to do your due diligence and test. Right. But I would say, and I don't want to go negative with the question. I don't know that it was a mistake, but I did have a couple of agents that had been with me for a very long time that left once Bill passed away. And they continued to breach the contract that I had with them by working the leads that belonged to me because I paid for them.
Yes.
And so that has been a very disappointing situation to have gone through. And, there's legal things involved in that now that I'm having to do in order to protect my business, because I invest a lot of money into it.
Yes.
And I don't being stolen from. So I think the way that we will overcome that, it hasn't happened since then, but there are California Department of Real Estate forms now that specifically address team situations to prevent those types of things from happening in the future. So I send them, they get both my contracts. They get that one.
Yes. And by the way, when you began your team, and by the way, I just want to say that a lot of credit to your web presence goes to Bill.
Oh, of
And,
course.
when I heard about his passing, I was devastated for you because he was just such an incredible man. But it's really interesting. Yeah, the California board did come up with some really good forms to protect people because so much of that was happening. But the
Yeah.
one thing I always say is that the cream always rises to the top, and you're the cream. You're the top. You're the top of the top. Now, what advice do you have for agents that are in this business and they're finding a really hard time finding leads? What advice would you give them?
Oh gosh, I think that, if you are a single agent out on your own, it's hard. I mean, that's one of the reasons why people join a team, because they find value there.
Yeah.
Especially in areas like we're in, because everything is a gated community. You can't go door knock, you can't do, you can't do that. And now you can't do open houses, which in the past has been one of the main ways that new agents would try and pick up business. So, it's your center of influence.
Yeah.
You have to work those people first. I mean, it's really back to basics. Nothing has changed. It's just the manner in which we can reach out to people has changed. There's more options than there used to be. But really, you have to work your center of influence to start out with. And then, you pay for leads regardless of, you're paying one way or another.
Yeah, you
Whether
are.
you're an agent who does it through Zillow, which we do not do, or you are, spending a fortune on Google AdWords. But that's kind of it. I mean, it's expensive. And that's one of the things, that I think agents need to be aware of getting into the business, because a lot of agents just think, oh, I like looking at pretty houses, and my aunt was a real estate agent and that looks like a good job, and I think I'll go out and do that. And they don't treat it as a business, and you need to. So you need a business plan.
You're from a restaurant background, and I remember an agent once talking to me specifically about that she was going to do real estate smarter, and she was going to kind of just come and go in the business. And I said to her, I said, I'll tell you something. I said, real estate is no different than the restaurant business. And if people that drive by your restaurant, they may not need you at that moment. They may not be going in to buy something or to pick something up or to dine in. But when they drive by you every day and they see that you're open, and that you're clean and the sign is good, right? And there's people coming in and out. The thing about you is your restaurant's open, Sheri. People know who you are. You have a strong web presence. You have a strong presence in the communities. You have a very good name with the HOAs, the ones that I know of. I know you do, right? Because I talk to the inside people, and we talk real estate. And you're open for business. And I think the thing that agents have to understand is that you got to show up. You got to get up, you got to show up, and you got to stay there, and you got to go to work. And even through COVID this year, I hear agents complaining, and I want to hear what their complaints are. But a lot of the time, the solution is, did you leave your house today? Even I don't care to go for a walk. You got to do something, right? Are you reaching out? Are you connecting? Okay, you can't do open houses. You can connect with people. You can do a video. There's so many things you can do. And I think you've just done over the years, you've created this really nice blend and this amazing team. And that team gives really incredible service. So, and Adam, I love your energy. I just love your little, I want to get into that little data mind of yours, right?
Thank you.
So Adam, what did you do prior to being in real estate?
So I also come from a restaurant background, bartended, served, and I got my license in 2015 and try to do, both, but like the conversation that you were just speaking of earlier, I wasn't really all in. And, I had this sense that you get in this business, work your own hours, make a bunch of money, sell some sweet homes, and life is good. But 2 years, I was doing okay for my first year. 2 years passed, and I was pretty much not really doing much. In 2018, I said, hey, I'm going to kick this into gear. I joined Sheri's team, and it's been amazing since.
And didn't you join the most incredible team Did you hit the gold, like the jackpot, the, pot of gold? Because honestly, to learn from Sheri, that's the part I would be most happy about. So first of all, Sheri, I really have a lot of respect for you. I speak about you a lot. I have probably sent more people to that website. I want to take at least credit for a few of those hits on that site, meaning I'm always talking about your website. I love your style. I love your honesty. I love how you've treated me over the years. Now, I have one question, final question for each of you. You guys are in the most incredible spot in the world. So, where do you guys go to vacation?
Well, personally, I love Italy. That's my favorite. And then I spent some time in Spain a couple of years ago, and that was wonderful as well. So, but I mean, I've traveled quite a bit, and it's all good.
It's all good, yeah. And my favorite place is Greece. I go there every year. I couldn't go this year. And that's why I'm saying, even with the Canadians are coming back, and they're going to come back in a big way because they've been held back. And all of us that have been held back from our vacations are going to take them. Adam, what about you?
Well, it's funny. I'd never really had any desire to travel, but I went on my first vacation, I guess, this year, and it was much needed. So I appreciate that. And pretty much wherever there's mountains to hike and there's big green trees and lakes and rivers, that's
awesome. You might want to come up to the Pacific Northwest sometime. We got some nice trees up here.
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, Sheri, thank you. There are so many agents that are going to be able to listen to this interview. Normally we do our live summit. We are just adapting because of COVID, and I'm just honored that you had the time for this. I know how busy you are. Adam, I'm so excited for you.
Nice to meet
When
you.
I come down to the desert, which will be probably soon, I'm going to hit you guys up and we'll get together. And I just have so appreciated such great information today. So thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you, Denise. And, I've always been a big fan of your homes. You've done such a beautiful job with them. They're just gorgeous. And it's so nice to get to, see you like this. And I'd just like to say that, at the end of the day, we just have to be grateful for what we have and keep your mindset and your attitude up and just always be learning.
Yes.
And a big thing with our team is having a sense of humor. We try to inject that into everything. And I just think that you just got to keep positive, and that's just.
Well, you're sure, you have sure been a role model to many. And like I said, cream rises to the top. You're right there.
Oh,
thank you guys so much. Thank you. Okay,
right.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.